Why are you wasting money on nails when you can be cute on a budget and save? Self-care is a luxury that I always enjoy wasting on, or as I always say, investing into. But after paying $90 to $100 for years and COVID happening, I decided to start doing my nails myself and have saved so much because of it. And I want to help you do the same. So let's hop right into the video. Hey YouTube, welcome to my tube. I don't know about you, but I used to spend between $90 to $100 or more on my nails. But when COVID happened and everything closed, I didn't want to be crusty, like I always say. So I learned to do my nails on my own and have been doing them for about 4 years now. And I have to say, it has been the best thing that I've ever done. I will say you have to make a one-time investment, but what's one time compared to 2 to 3 times a month that you do your nails? The supplies you need are pretty basic. The Apres kit, which comes with a dehydrator, a primer, a UV light, a file, top coat, and of course the glue, is one whole kit that you buy all together. Now that might be the priciest thing that you buy because it's usually between $80 to $90 depending what you're getting in the kit. Some kits do bring nails, but it's up to you if the nail that the kit brings is a nail design that you want to do, or if you want to buy a separate nail design such as stilettos, almond nails, squares, coffins, whatever style you want. If it's not the style that comes with the kit, then you are going to have to buy a nail box. You of course need some gel colors to do your nails. I know some of the nails do come already pre-painted in the nude colors, the pinkies, and if you want to keep your nails like that, that's totally fine and it makes the process so much easier. But personally, I like doing my own thing, so I always get the clear nails, and if I want to paint them nude, then I just go ahead and do that, which takes me back to the point I was talking about. And a common brand that is used is Beetles, and this is if you can get yourself a salon brand gel polish, which obviously works 10 times better. You're going to need a drill to make everything smooth, to clean things off, all of that good stuff. You're going to need a way to remove the nails and also the gel and a later time when it's time to take them off, to change them, all of that. So you can invest in the little clippies or the little pots where you insert your hand, either or whatever other preference that you might have. And these next two things are preferential because it's up to you if you want to invest in it now or in a later time. I always recommend for sure the first one, which is a bigger UV light, because when it's time to dry the nails, you don't want to have to go 2 fingers at a time in the mini Apres light when you can use the bigger one and just shove your whole hand in there and the whole hand dries. And the other preferential item is a nail glove. It's just a glove that has openings for your nails so that when you're putting your hand inside of the UV light, the light doesn't affect your skin. But you can always just put on SPF and it works just the same. Again, it's up to everyone's personal preference. This last one is also a preferential, but I also want to say it's kind of a necessity depending the person. But the decor for your nails, I know some people like to put rhinestones or their little flowers or butterflies or all these other designs on your nails, and that is totally okay. But I wouldn't invest on it the first time you're buying everything for your nail DIY. And this is because I always tell people to learn the basics before you throw yourself all the way in and buy everything at once. Because let's say for whatever reason you get frustrated or you just don't want to continue doing your nails at home, then you're gonna have all this supply that you invested money into just lying around, and instead of saving money, we're going to be wasting money. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say that the first time you do your nails, they're going to come out perfect, because they very well might, but the reality is they probably won't, because it looks easy when you're watching someone else do it, but when you're doing it yourself, it's a bit of a struggle. And I'm not saying this to dissuade anyone. I'm just wanting you to be open with yourself and be realistic about the expectations you're going into when doing your nails at home. And if I find the picture, I will show you what my first time doing Apres nails at home was like. My nails were all over the place. I had nails that were curved, I had nails that were sideways, I had nails that I painted horribly, and I didn't even bother doing a design. My first set of nails that I did by myself was literally just paint, and they came out like that, which takes me back to what I was saying. I wouldn't invest in decor just yet. Wait until you're getting yourself a little bit more excited, until you see that you really want to put in some effort into getting your nails the right way. at home, and then I would go in and buy some decor just so that when it's time for me to decorate my nails like I want to, I have it in my kits. Okay, so now that you know all the supplies you need and a little bit more, let's get into what you're really here for. So my nails are already bare. This is what my nails looked like before I popped all my nails off for the purpose of this video, and even just on their own they were falling off, so it was time to do a brand new set. So my nails are completely bare, as you can see. So usually the first thing that I tell people is that you can file your nails first, just because I know some people like to have an even nail under Apres or acrylics or any other nails. So I would go ahead and do that first, and that is again completely up to you. If you want to go ahead and put Apres nails on long nails, you can do that as well. But personally, my nails, I have some that are long and some that are short, so I'm going to file them and get them as even as possible. Now that I have filed my nails and they're all even and I like how they look, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my cuticles. And so the way I go about that is I always go in with my drill. I use two different bits. So I use this one that is very small. Everything I show you will be linked in my Amazon storefront, so make sure you go check that out for all the products and everything else like that. But this is one of the bits I use, and this is just to clean around the edges and really get under my cuticle to lift it up, so that when it's time to go in, and I like to cut my cuticles, so when it's time to go in to cut them, they are already lifted. And this one right here is for a little bit when the skin is stuck to the nail, for the tougher skin that sometimes just, you know, doesn't want to cooperate. This is the bit for that. In the case that you don't have the drill that comes with these specific bits, for example, mine originally came with these bits, and these also come with a few ones that are good for cuticle removal as well. A good one that I like to use is what I call the football. As you can tell, it has a rounded edge and a bit of a point, and that's really good and helpful for when it's time to really get in there. So this one is good too, as well as this one that's a little bit pointier, and I like to use this one to really get in the cuticle and lift it up. So again, I can have an easier time cleaning it. These are the two bits that I like to use, and these bits actually came with my drill. Some of the drills will come with the bits, some of them you have to buy separate. Sometimes you won't even like the bits that come with your drill, so you want to buy other ones. Those two that I showed you are the ones that came with my drill, so I have these. But I also bought the ceramic ones too, because I feel like they gave me a little bit more flexibility with what I could do with these. But I didn't buy these till like a few years in, so again, not a necessity, but if you want to and if you work with them before, you just like how those feel because you've seen your tech use them before, then go ahead and get those. But personally, you can do them with any of the drill bits that come with your drill. Now, if you notice, I'm always going in with the side of the bit and never straight in, because if you go straight in with the bit, you're going to cause so much damage and it's genuinely going to hurt you. So always make sure you're going in with the side and never the edges of a bit, so that you aren't causing yourself harm, or if you're planning on doing this to somebody else, that you're not causing them harm either. Also, if this is the first time you work with a drill, I always recommend going in with a soft hand and going in with the first level of the drill, because that way you get a sense of how the drill feels in your hand, and also just how fast and how much power the drill actually has. So now that I've already gone in with what I call the football bit and cleaned up a little bit around my cuticles, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the other one that I showed you, which is slightly sharper or a slightly pointy edge. And this is mostly to lift the cuticle, so that when I go in with my cuticle cutter, it's easier for me to grab them because the cuticle will already be lifted. Okay, so now that you've completely cleaned your nails, they should look something like this. All of this was just prep, so that when you put on your nails last 3 to 4 weeks, if not so much longer, because you've prepared your nails to really take on the glue and the nail and be able to save it for as long as possible. So a lot of times when you go to the salon, you see them run your nail with a whole bunch of different bits. Then I'm talking about your nail bed, and all they're doing is weakening your nail bed, which is not necessary at all. If you have something on there from the previous nails, then yes, there is a need to go in with a little bit more bits than usual, but they should not be making your nail bed thin at all. I've even heard, and even my first time putting on Apres at a salon, it burned my nail when they were gluing it and I had my nail in the lamp because of how thin my nail beds were made when they were preparing my nails for the Apres nails, and that should not be happening. So I'm gonna teach you the most minimal way of taking away from your nail bed but still getting that full adhesion that the nail techs are looking for. All you're going to need to do is rough up your nail. And by rough up your nail, I mean using a bit like this one, which helps to create some texture, as you will see right now, on your nail, so that when you put on the Apres nail, which will also have texture on it, the glue kind of goes into both textures, the one on your nail bed and the one on the fake nail, and it creates a stronger adhesion so that the nail stays on longer and doesn't fall off ahead of its time. But before I go in with this bit, I also like to go in with another bit, and it's just those two. And I like to go in with the second one first because it takes away the shine, which means you're taking away any oils that your nail beds might have from either you touching stuff or just the natural oils that your body makes that will be on your nail bed, which is why when we're going into the second half of the process, you're going to need a dehydrator. But let me not get ahead of myself. Okay, so before we go into the next step, which is actually dehydrating and priming your nails, so we are literally steps away from putting on our nails. It's time to pick what nail you're going to do. Now, if you only have one, then that's easy and it settles it. Personally, I have 3 different pairs. So I have a round, the stiletto, and I have 2 coffins, the long and the medium, because they also come in varying sizes depending what size you want for your style of nail that you like to do. And I mean in terms of length, but I also mean within each box there is different sizes for you to try on. They go from 0 to 9, so there is pretty much every size in there. And even though I have all those different styles, the ones I always lean toward is the round and the stiletto because I really like how almond nails look on myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick them out. I'm gonna leave you here my nail map, so which nails I use for each of my different nails. And a good idea is to write this down in your notes app because that way every time you come to do your nails, you don't have to go in and test every single nail again. I still test out my nails no matter what, but I mean you don't have to go through 0 through 1 through 2 through 3 through all the other ones just to find out which of the Apres nails fits yours. If you have them written down, all you have to do is go in, pick your size once again, and go ahead and check if they still fit the way you like them to, and if not, just go ahead and change that nail. But if they fit how you like them to, then your job is literally done. So when you check to see if the nails fit you, you want to make sure that the nail fits in its wholeness. So it should fit from end to end on your nail. If the Apres nail does not reach end to end, then you need to go a size up because when it comes time to painting it, you're going to see where the Apres nail stops and your nail begins, and it's going to not be cohesive, which is not what you want, because the whole idea behind these nails is that they look like natural nails. They look like acrylic. They look like you went to a salon and you got them done and not that you did them yourself. So make sure that the nail is fitting end to end. If your nail passes your nail too much, then it's too big and you're going to need to size down. Now, if it's one of the last nails where it doesn't fit end to end if you go down a size, but if you go up a size, then the nail fits too big, what you're going to have to do is file down the edges to make it fit to the size of your nail. Once you file the nail, it should fit end to end like we want it to, and that's exactly where you want to stop and then continue to the next nail. Now that you have your sizes picked, we're going to get right into it. So now you're going to need your drill bit once again because now it's time to roughen up the Apres nails. We already roughened our own nails, so now we have to roughen up that nail. And I like to use the same 2 bits that I use to roughen up my nails to roughen up the Apres nails. I don't use both of them. I use one or the other, but it's really up to you. I know a lot of people like to use this bit right here because it does give a little bit more texture, but personally I find that using the other one makes it so much easier and that the glue holds on to this one a little bit stronger when it comes to me. Everyone has their own style, but personally, I know that this one works best for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this bit. After you've created texture, your nail should look like this. Now remember, the idea is to have enough texture so that the glue sticks both to the texture in the nail and the texture on your nail. The next part is really one of my favorites, and I don't even know why, but I absolutely love it. I even loved it when I used to go to the salon to get my nails done, and I feel like it's just because I know that we're getting to the end of the process and I'm excited to see how my nails turn out. So I don't know, this part just makes me really excited. But we're gonna go ahead and go in with the primer and dehydrator, and these are the two that come in the Apres kit. Again, don't judge my primer, it's been through hell and back, of course. So what the dehydrator does is that it removes any oils and really dries up your nail so that the glue is adhering to your nail and not to any of the oils that is gonna make your nail fall off faster than it needs to. And the primer is literally what it's called. And just think about it as a primer, like when you do your makeup. Like, the primer is what holds your makeup together. This is what's gonna hold your nails together. So the dehydrator and everything that we've done before this step is kind of like our skincare, but to our nails. And now when we go in with our primer, we're going in with the step that's really gonna help keep all our makeup together, keep all of our nails together, so that we're not looking cakey or our makeup isn't messed up within 30 minutes to an hour. And this is going to keep our nails on for longer than a week, 2 weeks, and maybe even 3 weeks, depending how good of a job you did with those pre-steps that we've been doing. So what you want to do when you grab your dehydrator is you want to make sure you're getting the brush very wet and you're scrubbing it into the texture to really get in there, because you want every part of the nail to be dry. So it's gonna look wet at first, and you're gonna slowly start seeing my nail get what I say is ashy, because it's really soaking up the oils that were originally on my nail and it's drying my nail out. This is how you want your nail to look. I can see I have some spots that didn't fully get, so I'm gonna go back in, and this is something that you can do as well. Go in as many times as you want until you get the desired dryness. It's gonna look the same every single time, but like I said, I did notice some spots that weren't all the way dry, so I went right back in. And as you can see, it's already starting to dry and getting rid of all the shine and really starting to look ashy, like I like to call it. Once your nails are dry and they look crusty or ashy, however you want to call it, this is when you're gonna go in with your primer. And so the idea behind the primer, again, is to do the same movements. You're going to scrub this in, and this primer is not gonna be drying. This primer, you're actually gonna get a sticky base, which is why it was important to do all the pre-steps before, including the texturing of the nail, because any dust that comes off the nail was probably going to get stuck to this, because like I mentioned, the primer is like the primer when you use makeup. So it's gonna get sticky and it's going to stay sticky. And this one will stay looking like that, all wet. But if you touch it, it is sticky to the core. For example, if you see here, I got a little bit on my skin, so I'm gonna show you guys. You see, it's sticky. And that's exactly what's going on my nail. So when I put the glue on and I put my nail, this is really gonna keep my nail on there, and that's exactly what we want. I go ahead and grab a little bit, clean off the excess. I grab a little bit, and you're gonna put it like if you're putting on nail polish. It should cover the entirety of your nail, not in your cuticle or anything else, but it should literally look like a clear coat of polish. You're gonna grab your nail and you're going to apply a layer on there as well. It doesn't have to be a thick layer, just a layer that looks enough so that when you press down this nail on your own nail, the glue moves all together. Now, you're gonna wanna do that under the light. So what I like to do is I always have my light ready, and I have my light at 60 seconds. If it's a nail that I know I need a lot of glue for example, my index finger, I always have to use an extra amount of glue because my nail curves down naturally. That's a nail that I go in with 90 seconds, but a nail that I know is straight and I know I can get the nail on with 60 seconds, I fit it on with 60 seconds and I make it work. Once I feel that the glue has cured under the nail, I let it go and I just let the rest of the time finish through so that the gel cures fully and I know my nail is not gonna move. So this is what the nails should look like. My gel passed slightly, as you can tell in this corner, and the idea really is for the gel to stop where your nail stops. But if it passes slightly, it's okay, especially if you're going to paint over it. No one's gonna see it. And I mean, sometimes you can tell through the back that the gel has passed. But again, if it's just a little, personally, it doesn't bother me. But if it's a lot, you're going to see it in the background and it causes for the nail to not look pretty. And again, remember, and I'm gonna keep saying this, the idea behind Apres nails is for them to look natural or as natural as possible, so that people either think it's acrylic or any other form of nail art that is on your nails. So something important that you want to know is that you want the Apres nail to be slightly away from the cuticle. If you could tell, none of these nails are inside of the cuticle, and that's because when we're done applying the rest of the nails on both hands, you're going to have to go in with the drill again and just seal in the end, because if you can tell on this one, you see where the Apres nail ends. So you're going to have to seal that so that it looks natural, because remember, we're going after that natural look. Sealing this will cause it to blend naturally into your nail, making it look seamless, and that's exactly what we want. This is what your nails should look like when you're done pasting them. These nails are not moving, they're literally stuck. If I bend my nail too far back, it literally hurts. So this is exactly what you want. You're gonna go ahead and file these nails like you would naturally your own nail or any other nail that you have on. One thing that I wanna mention, and I really wanna enforce how important this specific thing is that you have to test out your UV light before you use it on yourself. I've seen so many people come out and talk about how they're so allergic to nail products, gel, all of it, because of lamps not healing everything how they should. Your lamp should heal so well that you should not experience any itchiness, any bumps, anything of that nature. Because if that's what's going on when you apply your nails, then you're having an allergic reaction to the glue not being cured all the way. Obviously, the gel has its purpose, and its purpose is for it to be cured fully so that the nail is on. Even with the gel not being cured, the nail will feel the same. The way you will know, again, is if you get any itchiness around your nails or any bumps or anything of that nature, then you know that your lamp is not healing the way it needs to, or that the gel you're using is not healing correctly. This is important because, again, you don't want to harm anyone, including yourself, when you're doing the nails. The whole purpose of this is just to save money. You want to make sure you're doing it right, because again, if you're not doing it right, that's just a hospital bill or another bill to a doctor to find out why the heck your nails are itching the way they do, when in reality all that's happening is that the gel you're using isn't curing correctly, and that can happen for both the glue and the nail polish that you use. So just make sure that everything is healing and everything is curing and doing what it needs to do the right way to avoid any of these problems. Okay, so now that you filed your nails and you have the shape and length and everything else that you want, you are ready to seal the cuticle. Now, sealing the cuticle, like I've been saying, it just has to do with making your nail look as natural as possible. So the bit that I like to use is actually the one that we used from the beginning, this one right here. And this one is really going to get in there and seal all of that. Now, once you're going in, you're gonna go in one way only. You're not gonna go back and forth like we've been doing throughout the entire tutorial, because if you go back and forth, it's very likely that you're gonna take off too much, and that's not what we want. So we're gonna go in one direction, and if you need to go again and again and again, you keep going until you get the desired look that you want. Once you're done sealing the cuticle with the drill bit, you're gonna go ahead and grab a little bit of acetone on a nail brush. And I'm not telling you to go out and buy a nail brush. You can if you want to, but it's not a necessity. If you're a makeup girly, I'm sure you have brushes lying around that you don't use, especially eyeshadow brushes. You can use one of those, because that's exactly what I did. I had an eyeshadow brush that had a slight curve to it, and all I did was cut it a little bit more so that I had more control over the brush when I was cleaning the edges of my nail. One, when I was sealing my cuticle, and also when it's time to clean up any nail polish that gets left on your skin. It works great for both things, so it's just a good accessory to have on the side, and you don't have to go out and buy one unless you want to, but you can literally just use a tool that you have at home that I know you're not using. So you're gonna go ahead and grab a little bit of acetone, just a little bit. You don't want to wet the nail too much, and you're just gonna go on the edges of the nail, and just so that the Apres nail melts a little on that edge that you just created, again giving you that seamless, natural looking nail that we want. Once you have all your nails on and they are sealed and completely natural looking, like look at these nails, you can just see, you can't even see where the Apres is, where it stops, and when you paint it, it's just going to complete the look even more. You are ready to paint your nails now. Now is the extra fun part, because now you can just relax, take your time and paint your nails. Again, if you want to add designs on your first time, you can do that. If you want to wait, you can wait. But this is like really the fun part, where you get to be creative and really bring out all those creative juices that everyone has flowing inside of them. And this is the most exciting and rewarding part of it all. The process seems long, because it kinda is, just because you want your nails to last and you want your nails to be so pretty. And of course you're doing it on yourself, so everything takes a little bit longer. But at the end, when they are painted and they are ready to go, it is the most rewarding feeling, because you're like, ah, finally, I feel like myself. I feel like I can conquer the world with my nails done. And that is how you should feel after you finish any self-care. And I'm totally here for it. I absolutely love how these nails came out. The little flowers are actually real flowers that I found on Amazon that are literally for nail art, and I think they're so beautiful. They're so easy to work with, and they really give your nails that little pop of color that sometimes you need. I think they came out so adorable, and this was actually the first time I used them, so I'm very happy with the results. If Apres nails aren't your cup of tea and you're a natural nail girly, make sure you go check out my hard gel nail tutorial, which will also have you saving money and making sure your nails look so pretty, so well done, and they will look like you have gone to the salon, just like in this tutorial. I will link it somewhere on the screen so you can go check that out, or it will be the suggested video at the end of this video, so that you can go check it out when you're done watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe and make sure you give this video a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.